stories that no doubt they had repressed for many years. I attended reunions, collecting photos and more sea stories as word spread, and these aviators shared even more. Time passed, and I was deployed again and again. The gentle prodding to get their story told started to become none too gentle. These men were not getting any younger. As I write this, the senior leaders are in their 80s. Even the youngest men are now in their late 60s. What became clear is that there was much more to their stories than had been told before. Oriskany and CVW-16 made 3 deployments to Vietnam between April 1965 and January 1968. Each deployment coincided with the most dangerous phases of Operation Rolling Thunder. The Johnson administration's slow squeeze meant that Oriskany arrived on station just as previous restrictions were lifted and bombing raids increased. As a result, Oriskany's pilots bore the burden as they ventured into heavily defended areas previously declared off-limits at a time when the summer monsoons provided the clearest skies over North Vietnam. As this was the best time frame for flight operations, the numbers of sorties flown increased dramatically. The Air Wing suffered dearly. During 1965, CVW-16 spent 141 days on the line, losing 23 aircraft. During 1966, the Air Wing lost 25 aircraft during an 87-day line period. This cruise was cut short due to a tragic fire on 26 October 1966 that killed 44 men, including 24 aviators and the Air Wing commander. A shortage of aircraft carriers meant Oriskany had only 7 months for repairs before deploying again in 1967. The Air Wing's worst losses were sustained during the June 1967 to January 1968 deployment, when it lost over half of its assigned aircraft and over a third of its assigned pilots. Oriskany's losses accounted for almost 20% of the Navy's total losses during 1967, the highest loss rate of any carrier air wing during the Vietnam War. Unfortunately, these numbers don't account for the numerous aircraft that were damaged on each mission, adding to the strain on already overtasked sailors. With the benefit of time, this book is my attempt to tell Air Wing 16's story. While its involvement during this tumultuous period in America's history has a familiar resonance, it is the experiences of this air wing that make it unique. These aviators experienced the highest of highs and lowest of lows in a 3-year period. How and why that happened is the real story. These men, who were mostly volunteers answering the call of their country, endured a great deal and at great cost to themselves and their families. I'm forever grateful to them for opening up to me and allowing me to dredge up what are, for most of these men, unpleasant memories of a period they would rather put behind them. It was a terribly confusing and extremely deadly time. Their story and their service are often lost in the bitter confusion of the war itself. I have attempted to retell their story to the best of my ability. During the course of researching this book, one of the pilots nearly broke down while relating to me his thoughts as he visited the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. "Is this all there is?" he asked. "Names on a wall?" My response is an emphatic no. There's much, much more. This book is for these men. It is their story, one that needs to be told. Finally, a note on names, translations, and sources. Here, and throughout the book, I have used local dates and times. I have used the period Western spelling for Vietnamese place names, for example, Hanoi instead of Hanoi, Phuc Yen instead of Phuc Yen, Haiphong instead of Haiphong, and Saigon instead of Ho Chi Minh City. Any errors are mine, and mine alone. Part 1. Setting the Stage. Wars cannot be fought the same way bureaucrats haggle over apportionments. The toll of human life in battle does not lend itself to cost-benefit analysis. One's plan of action on the international